Hello. Oh. Hi, Emily. Hello, beautiful people. I have got a doozy for you today. Hey, yo, Facebook user. So I don't know how many of you caught my Facebook Live, California Dreamin'. This Facebook user, who are you? So yesterday I did a Facebook Live on my personal page. I don't know if we shared it into here or not, but it was all about what's going on with my daughter, Shyla. And I wanted to come here. Jess, hi. I wanted to come here and Marcy, hi. And kind of walk you through what took place yesterday and then how the whole day kind of like wrapped itself in a bow of new awareness and possibility, really. And then I do have a couple clearings I wanted to run with you guys. If you are not familiar, let me see if I still have the banner, with the clearing statement, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, find out more, see if you want to pick up that magic wand we call the clearing statement. Okay. Yay for bows. Exactly. So yesterday, my daughter, I'll share you the whole story, or spare you the whole story. You can check it out on my personal page, or someone will share it into here before we're even done. But basically, my daughter was being graded by a teacher. The teacher thought it would be a cool choice to kind of like do her detective work about whether my daughter was telling the truth by having my daughter share her screen in front of everybody on Zoom to prove to herself and everybody that my daughter was lying about what she was doing. And in that, all the kids felt justified in unmuting and in the chat bullying my daughter and saying stuff like, if you're not honest, we're going to jump you. And the fact that the teacher wasn't addressing that, it was still harping on my daughter, really upset me. So I got really, thanks, Monica. It's a bridge that I often block. So it looks like there's like ropes coming out of my head, but whatever. Okay. Marco's fast with sharing. Yes, he is. Thank you. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Andrea. So I just wanted to walk you through, like, not the story, but the energetic pathway. Okay. So we all create energetic pathways. This rise means I react this way, which then often creates this result. If I like it or I don't like it, I'll recreate the pathway to try to do it the right way again. And it's basically like this creates which way I'm going to walk, because this is how I relate to this energy. Okay, so that's your energetic pathway. But literally, if you would today see it as a pathway, like a cobblestone pathway, okay? And so we're going to walk this path together today in this Facebook Live so that I can share with you the change that occurred that blew my fucking brains out, okay? So I perceive that. I'm shaking. I realize that it's my daughter's body that's like freaking out. And so I take a moment to lower my walls and barriers, ask what I can be for her. Now that's a pretty common energetic pathway for mama, okay? So I be there with her, but my rise in my world about what needed to change for her with the school, still an explosion, volcanic ashes everywhere, okay? So one thing that I did earlier than I normally do it, so changing this energetic pathway, was I text Dane and I said, hey, this just happened, like this thing happened with the school. I was like, this fucking shit needs to change. I said, but I know that like my fight that I have right now, I know from my knowing, I don't know why I'm pointing to my mind, but that's kind of where we go with our knowing, I guess. I know that fight only creates more fight. I know that if you bring a weapon to a conversation, the other person is going to look for their weapons. It's the way it works. And so from that, asked Dane to like contribute. So he asked me a couple of questions, but then I realized just tapping into his energy and like texting and asking for contribution, I actually received it in a way that didn't require words. I was just aware of like, kind of like, what would Dane do? What would Jesus do? But in this case, Dane, what would Dane do? And so in tapping into his energy, I was like, okay, cool. I need to make a different choice with this energy right now. Otherwise it's going to build. It's going to, I often talk about in classes, like when you try to suppress something, it's like a boiling water that you're trying to put the lid on. And if you walk away from boiling water, what happens to the lid, right? Like it starts to whatever, and then it's going to pop it off because the bubbles are getting bigger and because they're being suppressed into the pot. Okay. So the choice is to take the lid off, and the lid is like to no longer suppress and to do something with this energy. Because right now it's just energy. It's like my piss off, it's my defense, it's my righteousness, it's my demand. This has to fucking change, but it's all swirling together in a pot, which makes it hard to make a choice because I don't know what energy I'd like to play with. And especially if I'm suppressing it. So what I chose in that moment, and one of the things that I often choose, is to go to creation. Okay, cool. What can I create? What can I create right now? And so not creation is like the umbrella energy, but like literally if you're in a situation like that, what can you create? Get out a pen and paper, draw something, turn on music and like create a dance routine, like write a letter. I don't care. Just use it to create. So I was like, what would I like to choose with the awareness that creation will actually allow this lid to come off my suppression, and the bubbles, if you will, that I was trying to keep in could then, start to dissipate in the way that's like makes it more malleable and less solid. So I chose the Facebook Live. Hi Loretta, hi Andrea. I love that you were present with the energy and knew it could be something other than fight. Yeah, what would it take for the world to get that fight actually doesn't create? But it takes us people who know that to start to choose it. But here, like, there will be more to this story because I was doing fight and a totally different thing. Thanks, Anna. I chose to go on the Facebook Live, which opened up more awareness, which allowed more contribution from those that were watching the Facebook Live and were like, just having my back and being a space for me to look at. I had people reach out saying like, hey, if you require me to ask you questions, I was like, that's really freaking cool, Just so happened that I happened to have already a scheduled meeting about Shyla's education on the books for yesterday. So it was like, this is so cute, universe, like what you've created here, because this situation didn't happen a day after. I didn't have to call a meeting to look at it. It was already on the books. So I'm like, okay. So I did the Facebook Live, and then I just sat with myself and was like, what is the thing I've been unwilling to choose here? That if I were to choose it, would at least give me awareness of a new possibility. Okay. So a lot of times when we have like such a willingness to choose something, you might want to check yourself. Are you being righteous with what you are still choosing? A lot of times we continue to choose the thing because it's right. We can, in our point of view and our judgment, it's right. It's the right thing. It's what you're supposed to do. It's what you're supposed to be. It's what's worked before, like whatever your justification is. Okay. So, what I realized is that I keep going to the school district with the same energy. With if they had possibilities, they would choose it, was my point of view. If they knew how to be with children that creates empowerment, not disempowerment, then obviously, cute Sarah, they would be choosing it. So I made it my superior righteous job to every time bring my portfolio of possibilities. Okay, so I'm like, hello, here you go. But what that does is like, here's all the way you're wrong. Here's where I'm right. Here's what you could be choosing and you're not choosing. Yep, you're still wrong. Now here's the other funny thing is that when I facilitate, one of the things I constantly say to people is, yeah, you're still not wrong. So you chose that. What else would you like to choose now? Still not wrong. But what I've been asking for and have yet to fully choose is to be the facilitate, like be that everywhere, not just in classes. I just love you, girl, too. Okay. Not just in classes, but everywhere. And so there'll be times when I already know someone like is kind of open to a different possibility. I'll be that, more of that. Or when I'm flirting with possibility with people, and I don't mean actual flirting, but maybe even actual flirting, but like, just dropping a little one-liner question, like, or it could be different. And then like, bouncing out. But when this intensity and desire for change that I have to bring possibility from my point of view, and I start to try to force possibility in people's worlds, which is just another cute way of fight. Hey, Jonathan. So I wasn't seeing that because through my righteousness goggles, and knowing what their choices are creating for children at large, which has judgment in it, right? I was totally judging with the righteous point of view of like, hey, there's some other possibility. So do you see how that like muddles down the possibility being picked up because I have judgment attached to it, right? Okay. And like, don't you just kind of sometimes think that some people like, kind of deserve a little judgment in their world? Just kidding. Anyway, but like that's where I think I was coming from, not cognitively, but like, they need to know how wrong they are so that the future could be greater. Hello, Okay. So the question that popped for me after coming to the awareness of where it was coming from was, what contribution can I be to them so that they know something else is possible? Because I had already decided that there was no possibility there, which is why I was having to force it into their world. But if I could acknowledge there's possibility everywhere, the universe could create anything beyond my imagination, anything beyond what I thought, how it has to be, anything greater than I could, even plan out or wish for. And so I was like, wow, what if I'm just an energy that contributes to them having what awareness they could choose? Space. What if I just be some space here? I would be completely lying to you if I said that it was like this easy choice, because Mama Bear still lives here. But as the meeting got closer, I would perceive my bubbling kind of coming and like me wanting to suppress, because again, suppression of that like anger, frustration, fury, all of those distracting them, like suppress them so you can be the conscious one or bite heads off. I don't know. But I managed to expand out enough to get on this meeting in a completely different way. Thanks, Emily. So I asked you in the beginning of the life, follow the energetic path. Okay. So it's like awareness of what was going on, fire burning in your veins, take care of kid, now go handle taking care of the teacher and the school, kill them, text brother being a different space, offers me a different space of what I could choose. Okay, what questions can I ask? Oh, awareness about where I'm being righteous. Okay, cool. Wow, what vulnerability have I chosen recently? So that also came in of like acknowledging myself of what vulnerability I've chosen in my life recently that would allow me to even see that, because the blind spots that we have in our reality a lot of times are attached to the vulnerability we're unwilling to choose. So we keep choosing the same thing because it would take a level of vulnerability and lowering walls and barriers to actually look at that thing and go, oh shit. So it wasn't fun yesterday finding out that I was being righteous, because I thought I was being the champion for possibility. Okay. So once I got to that, I was like, okay, cool. And then the relaxation comes in. Okay, cool. New awareness. What would I like to choose? And what contribution can I be to these people that I'd like to otherwise kill? We don't often do that. We don't often look from the place of, how do I contribute to the thing I'd like to change? Totally different, right? I'm totally picking up where you're laying down here, Sarah. How does it get even better than that? Awesome. And Facebook user says, thank you for exposing this, Sarah. You're welcome. Hi, damn. I have a friend always take that point of view with, like, it's my job to show her their limitless. Yeah. Fire yourself from that job, baby. The 5 elements of intimacy, always and everywhere. Yes. Andrea, this twists me because I love that you invite the possibilities of forcing it also just has judgment too. Oy vey. I know. Consciousness is fun. Instead of social justice warrior, possibility warrior. But Anna, I would have told you before yesterday that I was a possibility warrior. I mean, we're in possibility posse. Hello, possibility warrior over here. Okay. But from the place that something has to change. Okay. That's an expectation. From the place that it's up to me to change it. How superior can I be? From the place that they didn't have possibilities, so I had to show them superior again. Thanks, Jonathan. Someone said, shh. Okay. So, you're saying it to Emily, it's Marco. I don't know why Marco doesn't just give permission so that I can speak to him. Very interesting. Okay. So I go into this meeting with a completely different space. Now, not asking them, but just asking the universe, add to my world, add to my pot. Okay, I have my pot here and I'm bringing it to the potluck of this meeting. Potluck of possibilities. You're welcome. I found another P. Potluck of possibilities. Okay. I brought my potluck item that they can pick up and eat or not eat. You know, when you bring something, you sit it down and you're like wondering if your stuff's going to be eaten or people are going to think you're gross. No, I'm just kidding. So I brought it and I just said, universe, add whatever to my potluck item that will create greater for everyone involved, including Shyla, including me, and including them. And so I went into the meeting with a totally different point of view, with way more awareness about me and where I could like surprise them. Because I know I finally tapped into when they're coming on a meeting with me, how all their walls and barriers are up because I'm not a pushover parent. And I see other parents who, you know, maybe have English second language or who aren't really up on, you know, what they can ask for, what they can choose. And they kind of get bullied a little bit in that system. So with me, they don't get to like, you know, I'm not going to just lay down and let them walk all over me. So I know that they're like, okay, we have to bring our best like game or whatever. So there's already this like, right? And when I came with my sword every time, I'm like clanking against their walls and barriers, you know? This space was totally different. I was asking to actually contribute to them. And the universe allowed it words. The universe allowed or contributed as well to like lower their walls and barriers. I asked questions from a completely different place. I didn't not ask questions about what happened with my daughter, but I didn't do it in the way that I did it. And I did before. I can't tell you like what was different, just that it was different and the energy was different. So I asked, and I also asked like, what were you hoping to create when you chose that? What was the outcome you were looking for when I asked the teacher? And she went on. And here's the thing. I also get to know when people are lying if I say truth in my head before I ask the question. And so right away I was like, oh, cool. I could just be a space to expose to so there's like district people, the teacher, the special ed teacher, the principal, all in this like panel meeting. Okay. So instead of pointing out her lie, which is what she was doing to Shyla, interestingly enough, look at that. Publicly, she was like basically putting what the kids call Shyla on blast, right? Which I thought was so unkind. I was going to go do that to her, right? She deserved it. Instead, I was like, oh, okay, tell me more about that. Tell me about what you thought was going to happen that didn't happen. Like, can you explain it to me? I don't understand. And asking constantly to be truth, to be revealed. All the lies to be revealed and the truth will come out, right? Saying truth in my head every time I asked a question. I didn't have to do anything else. Everything else was handled because then the principal raised up. And by the way, the principal hates me. Like she can't even look in my direction because I've called her on the carpet a number of times from this other righteous place. And I have demanded things of her that she wasn't willing to contribute. I have been like that mama, right? And I don't regret it and I don't judge me. I just have new awareness now of how to like create a different future. So the principal ends up going, wow, that shouldn't be taking place. Wow. Okay. I'm going to look into this. And can I get the chat from the teacher? She's like, I want to look at what's going on in this chat. This shouldn't be happening. This is definitely like, you know, unkind and bullying. And she just was like, and when I tell you that this woman hates me, it's like you could cut it with a knife if you're around me. And I just laugh at it because I don't really have a point of view. But I also know every time I've had this situation with this woman, it has been like, I could be like, the sky is blue and she will attack and tell me that it's actually aqua today and I need to open my eyes. Like, okay. So anyway, so that's all happening. And I keep going, wow, what's going on? It felt like I was in a different reality, like a totally different world. And by the end of this meeting, I said to the principal, I said, hey, last year when you had me formally request what Shyla's teacher will be the next year, because there are two teachers. one that I definitely don't want my daughter to have, and one that I don't really know, but it's better case scenario over here. But last year when I said this in a meeting, she said, there are systems to request teachers. You need to email this person. You need to, like, basically all the red tape I had to like cross in order to request. And she's like, Anne, I just want to let you know that there is no guarantee that you will get the teacher that you want, just so that you know. Like, this is not guaranteed. Just because she has an IEP does not mean you get to choose her teacher. And I was like, okay, well, put her whatever teacher you want. This was last year. I'm requesting this one. And if she doesn't get that one, then we'll have to have another conversation. So, so she ended up getting the teacher I wanted her to have. Okay, so this time I said, hey, is now a good time to discuss Shyla's teacher next year? And she goes, sure. Well, you could just do that verbally right now. You don't need to email me. She goes, what teacher would you like Shyla to have? And I said, what are my options to make sure that it was still the same options? And I said, yeah, I actually think this one would be a better match. She goes, oh, absolutely. I completely agree. She goes, we've already put Shyla with that teacher, but I'll definitely confirm that for you now. Your ask basically has been, oh, there's a hummingbird. Hi, friend. Oh, cool. Okay. She confirmed it right there on the spot, like easy peasy lemon squeezy. And I was like, what the hell is happening? Okay. And so I got off that meeting going like completely different, offering Shyla like a new space as well. Hello, Shyla, come on in.
I heard you say my name, but I came here for a different reason.
Okay, I'm on a Facebook Live. So you have a really great capacity to come in when I'm doing Facebook Lives. What's up?
Am I sick?
Okay.
I keep on sneezing.
Okay, I'm going to come check on you as soon as I'm done here with my friends. Okay, I love you. You're amazing. So anyways, I wanted to come here and share like the way that this kind of story came to be. And then I also wanted to give you some clearings. So Dane gave me these to run, and it is this. So what jails are you using for the dominance of E equals MC squared of conflict as the source of validating what I as a being can accomplish am I choosing? Everything that is, we destroy and uncreate it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So again, what jails am I using for the dominance of E equals MC squared? So jails are judgments, agendas, inventions, lies, and secrets. Am I using? So I have all of that energy. What am I using? Like the judgments and my agenda to change it, the inventions that there's no possibilities I have to bring it, the lies that and the secrets that were being that were there in place to make sure that it never got exposed. Like, what am I creating with? Okay. For the dominance, so allowing evil to dominate, and evil is mediocrity times corruption squared. Okay. So when people are just, when we're staying at this level and allowing the corruption to be in the world and not making a different choice. So that being dominant. So what am I using all of that for? Conflict as the source of validating what I as a being can accomplish and choose. Am I choosing? I forgot to add that, and choose. Okay. So how many of us know what it's like to always have a conflict, right? Always have a conflict. If you got it right, finally got it right with your like significant other, then you have a conflict at work. And if you have ease with your children, then you have a conflict with a friend, or maybe there's a conflict, in your creation or like whatever, right? But if you get to a space of no conflict, do you actually know who you are? Or do you have to so I had no conflict. And then yesterday I was like, well, here's a new opportunity to create a conflict. Let me create one so that I will know who I am. Because when I'm fighting, when I have my torch out, I don't know if you fight with a torch. No. Sword? Yeah. If I have my sword out and I'm like running into battle, I know who that person is. I know how that person is received and what she can create in the world. And she's a badass. She really is. But she'll only get to a certain point of to the opposition I only get to a certain point, and the actual change, and I might win more battles than I lose, but I'm still in battle. And the world I would like to create and be a part of is one where like that doesn't actually require to be had, the battle to create the change, because if everybody knew there were possibilities and we could be the space of our being all the time everywhere, then like conflict really wouldn't exist. It wouldn't really, need to exist. I could not put my gratitude for the gift you be in words. Oh, baby, don't put it in words. I receive it with your energy. The villagers brought torches when fighting Frankenstein. Thank you, Anna. Felt like I was going to fight Frankenstein yesterday. That's for sure. Okay. The other one, which is fun, and I told my friend Deb from Canada this morning, I was like, the Canadian brains might explode on this one, but what jails are using for the dominance of E equals MC squared to prove that honesty and integrity and forthrightness and control are the elements for creation of the life you desire that you can never have. Are you choosing? Everything that is, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. That's the clearing statement. You can find it at clearingstatement.com. So Dane just extrapolated on this a little bit. I'm going to give you a little tidbit, but I get maybe we'll have furthering conversations around this because this one blew my mind today. Dane spoke today about how honesty and having your truth is actually the way that we choose to control people, from a place of I'm being honest with you so that you can see what I see. No, don't go potty in there. We're not doing that today. Hey, get up. Kitten. Come on. Thank you. Okay. Sorry. Kitten's in my plan. I'm guilty of being a good Canadian. Exactly. So he literally said that we control people with our honesty, and my brain went, that we feel like if we're honest, we are speaking our truth and we're not looking at what they can receive, or we're telling them what we're aware of, even if they can't receive it, as a way to control them to choose what we would like them to choose. And that showed me something so different with like the value we put on this, like forthrightness and what are the other qualities he has in there? Integrity and control, and how it's all wrapped up in there. My favorite thing is when people are like, I can't lie. And they use that to control you into never lying to them, or to judge you for ever lying. And what is a lie? Like, we lie to ourselves all the time. And sometimes what we say is a lie to ourselves. So it seems true when we say it because we're lying to ourselves about it. So it's like a whole swirl. Oh my God, Elma, Canadian honesty, integrity, see what I see. Yeah. Oh, you're so welcome, Lily. Lily, you're welcome. So yeah. And so Andrea brings up manipulation. Yeah. It's another form of manipulation, is like, I'm just being honest with you. Okay. So how much was I like bringing my forthrightness, my integrity, and my honesty to the table with the school, and having that be the only way that I could create anything. Instead, being whatever creates, even if it's a big fat lie, whatever creates a different outcome. And I know that that's hard for a lot of people to hear because, a lot of us are brought up like, because, okay, look at this for a second. Okay. How many of us were raised by parents who were like, don't you dare lie to me, right? But it's really because they want to control you and know everything you're doing. So they want you to tell the truth to them. For what reason? For like, so you can have that vulnerable communion where they don't judge you for anything that you say, and you still have choice, or so that they can know what you're doing and control the outcome for you or for them. It's right? It's wild. And so the way that I parent my kids is I ask them to be honest with me so that we can have vulnerable conversations. And I always expect them to lie. Like I have the allowance in my world for them to lie. And so, but what I watch my husband do with lying, because of the way that he was brought up, And what's so funny, I was like, and how often did you lie? So yesterday after this meeting, my husband's telling me, I ask them every day about homework and they tell me straight to my face, like it's this respect thing, straight to my face that they did it. And then I look and they didn't do it. So I can't handle this lying. So I said to him, I was like, well, why do you think they feel like they have to lie? Do they think, is it because they don't think you can receive, or there'll be a consequence that they don't want to have, or a conversation that's not ease if they tell you the truth? Like, what can you change about you if you're constantly getting lied to is really the question. And also, can we just be a space to know that people lie? And if you ask truth, you get to know that they lie. Back to the thing with the teacher yesterday, she was doing her best to out Shyla in her lie so that Shyla knew she was lying. If Shyla's lying, Shyla knows she's lying. You just get to know she's lying too. And now what would you like to create with that? And what I know about Shyla is that she's so brilliant in all these ways that this world does not acknowledge. So she doesn't get the acknowledgement that the kid who gets 100% on his math test gets. So that's actually in her education program plan, is that they have to acknowledge her. And I was like, what part of that plan are you not seeing? Because outing her for a lie is because she's so afraid to be outed for not knowing. That's actually what the fear is. So she uses the lie to hopefully not have to experience that, is not knowing what the lesson is or not understanding what's going on. So she has to lie to protect herself, because the vulnerability of being outed in front of students looking stupid is more scary than getting caught in a lie. So if we didn't judge the lie, what is the lie there for? What's it put in place to protect? What can we be in that spaciousness? Oh yeah, the one thing that blew my mind was there's no question in honesty. Shut up, Deb. You're gonna make me talk about that. So if we look at like, what's the lie in place of, like, what is it protecting? Okay, is it the vulnerability with self? Is it comfortable distance, so we never have true communion because someone can't go in that way? Are you gonna drag someone into communion with you, or go, okay, cool, they're choosing that, I'll be a space, let's see. And that's what happened yesterday with choosing to be the contribution to the thing I'd like to change, rather than keeping it out so that I can make it wrong and stay righteous. And you never end up getting the truth anyways, totally. Thank you for this awareness, Sarah and Dane. Totally receiving this, and what else is possible around this. We'll totally look at this. Oh my God, I had the finger and fear of God around lying as a child, and it is the family joke. Oh my God, brilliant awareness here. Cool. Cool. So Andrew knows better than to expect total honesty. Awesome. But somehow the honesty, I guess, is what we want to look at. The reason we desire someone to be fully frank and honest with us, what I see are like, there's two possibilities. That's just me. They're the two C's. One, control. Like when I want to know too much about what someone's doing, control. Okay. But the other thing is that I also know that, like, if I'm choosing to be in communion with someone and really just like let all our parts hang out and be super vulnerable and walls and barriers down, and that the lie can create a distance. So for me, there's like two places, and I guess you just got to like look at like, hey, if they brought something to the table that I absolutely disgustingly hated, is that even, can you do that? Disgustingly hate? I don't know. If words. If someone brought me something that was the most horrible thing that I could hear, would I be able to have my point of view about the thing that they brought me, the choice that they made, or the whatever, like have that be there and not judge the person, but look at the thing? Or would I reject the person if they brought it? And in that case, I don't know that like trying to demand honesty is what'll create. So if I'm really like asking for communion, and I have a handful of people in my life that I actually truly ask that for, and I make a demand of myself to be honest from a space of vulnerability about all the things that I think I have to hide in order to be close to them, or in order to have them close to me. And I like demand that of myself, that I don't put up facades or, do the lying thing to create the personality that fits with them. And in other places, if I'm demanding honesty, I see that it's because I want the truth so that I can control an outcome, so that I can control them, so that I can blah, 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 blah. So you'd have to like ask for that, what it is for you. I don't care about being lied to. I usually know anyways. If I ask a question and get lied to, that pisses me off. Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Me too. And hey, can you not break my curtains, kitten? Kitten. Yeah, but what is it about that?
Kitten.
What?
Kitten.
Oh, you coming to get the kitten? So what is it that pisses you off about that? If I ask a question to get lied to, that pisses me off. So did you? Okay. So was hold on a second. I think I might have just uncovered something. Was the question a lie? Hey, beautiful. I don't know who it is, but hi. I want to see the kitten. Can you bring the kitten over here? Someone said. I have always stated that I would rather deal with the truth than the realization you lied as far as intimate relationships go. Yeah. But what is that? Was the question a lie? Because if you can you plug it back in, please?
I'm sorry.
Thank you for your giggles. Ugh. Okay, here's a kitten. She's purple because we painted her.
She's a funny kitten.
Okay, so how can the question be a lie? Well, that's the thing. If a question's not a question unless you're truly in wonderment. Shiloh, watch all the things you're doing with my cords right now, please. Okay. I don't think she wants to be held. Dan Benderbo. Okay. Oh, you guys
crying?
are. No. Wait. What purple? Hold on. They want to see the purple again. And then I need to kind of have like my own space in here because when you walk in, you're such a wonderful algorithm interrupt that I lose my thought. Okay. So can you give me some space in here, baby?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's go, kitten.
Thank you. I adore you.
Let's go, kitten.
You're awesome. Okay. So if you're not actually truly asking a question, if you're asking the question to uncover the lie that you already know is there, then you're not asking a question. Oh, yeah. Is that crazy? So if it's an accusation with a question mark attached, or like I say in my classes, like, hey, you don't have to take your awareness and put a question mark on the end in order to contribute to class. Like, I just want to hear what you guys know. So you don't have to sit here and go, okay, I'm aware of this thing. There's like this elephant in the room, but how do I form it into a question? If it's not a question right now, just unmute and tell me what you're aware of and we'll find the question. And so if you are there knowing someone's lying to you and you go up to them to ask the question that's going to reveal the lie, why? You're lying. You already know you're lying. You already know they're lying. So what can you choose in that moment in regards to what lie is there that exposes the lie? But, you know, that just another way to look at it. So I don't know. Anna, what I'm looking at is like, if in your sequence of events, if you already knew someone was lying because you're willing to know, are you asking the question to prove they're lying instead of just creating from the awareness? Or are you in true wonderment of like what the truth is? And so you're asking and then they lie to you and then you find out later. And then even then, if you didn't make the lie wrong, what were they protecting that you can just add space to? Is kind of what I'm looking at. Because I know how many times I've like caught my kids in a lie or caught my whatever, and instead of just being like, hey, are you lying to me, or being like forthcoming, I know that I have done that. I've been like, I'm like almost like I'm gonna entrap them. I'm gonna tell them something, instead of just being direct. So take from that also, you guys, anything I ever say, like, take what's light for you and kick it to the curb. Now, here's the thing. I mean, kick the heavy to the curb. Take what's light for you, what's true for you. Because here's the other thing. If you guys have heard what's true for you always makes you feel lighter, and heavy is a lie for you, it's not true for you. That doesn't always stay the same. So what you can receive right now that is true for who you be right now will be light. But in 10 minutes or 10 months or 10 years, the same thing that as you change and evolve, you might look back at something that you thought was a lie and go, oh my God, that's actually really true for me right now. So if you allow it to be like malleable, then you don't have to actually reject anything. You could just go, okay, cool. I hear you, Sarah. And this is like lighting up my world. This thing over here, I'm not really sure about right now. It kind of feels like, what the fuck are you saying? Cool. You don't have to explore that. Take what's light for you. play with it. And then sometimes, and I've done this with Dane and Gary in classes, I'll explore the light stuff. And in those places of exploration, I almost see like an advent calendar, like at Christmas, where you like open the little doors. So I'm exploring all that. And I'm like, wow, that's light, blah, blah. And then one will turn and I'll go, oh, that's what I required to receive that. So it's not that things have to go like off into the oblivion because they're not true for you today. It's kind of just like, all right, cool. What's really easy for me to play with and look at today that could change my reality right away? And then from there, pop on over to, okay, what's changed now that I could choose, or what's available to me now? Am I late for something? Someone needs to. No, I'm not. Yes. Okay. Anyways, are there any questions that I can answer to you? My English is real bad. To lie or not to lie is the question. Oh, thank you, Emily, for telling me who said hi, beautiful. I'm grateful for that. Marcy, brilliant. Yes, can now see where I have totally done from proving energy and sometimes wonderment. Cool. Yeah, will it create greater? Super cool. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't have the say answer awareness to this really. But I have looked at this with parenting a lot. Sometimes I'm like, I guess what I could say is I have a willingness to be lied to but where I cut off my willingness to be lied to is if there's some devastation or outcome that could be prevented if I expose the lie. Does that make sense? But there are a lot of times that my son has come back, talk to me about something. He's like, Mom, remember that time I was telling you I was going to that thing and how I got home late? And he'll expose, this isn't actually accurate true story, but he'll expose something. And then I'm like, yeah. And that's when you actually went to this other place. And he'll be like, what? You knew that? How come you never said anything? I was like, because what was it going to create to expose that? I trust you. I know what you're doing. I didn't know why you felt like you had to lie. And then it'll come out that he would tell me something because he thought I would change my mind about letting him go. Or he thought that I might talk to the parent whose kid is going, who is lying about everything. And I might tell them. So he was trying to create something so I didn't find myself in a position of exposing a lie to someone else or these different things. But he has often said to me, wow, how come you didn't say anything if you knew that? There was a time that he had friends over that I was out of town or something, I can't remember. And he smoked weed for the first time. And I think maybe he only did it 2 or 3 times that we talk about this. And I came home and I just have a sensor. I could smell it. But I looked at him and I know him and I know his choices. And I just asked and I knew it wasn't required to have a conversation. And so I never said anything. And yet I think he only did it one other time after that. And he's like, this isn't for me. And so when he exposed it to me, in the conversations after that, he was like, you knew and you didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, but did you require me to say anything? He's like, well, no. And I was like, okay, because I've raised you to have your knowing and your awareness. And that I trust you to make decisions that are going to create. And he's like, wow, he couldn't get why I would sit there and let him lie to me. But it's kind of it's not required, But that's easy for me to choose with my kids for some reason. I know that's probably, thanks, Loretta. That's probably kind of harder for some people. But it's the point of view about parenting that would make it harder. Your job as a parent is to control the outcome. And that's what we're told and make sure they never, ever get any dings or bruises on them, And so they have to come off the finish line at 18 with a perfect shiny paint job. And that then you've done your job. And I just come from a different place, but in relationships, lies will bring up a lot for me. So that's where I have a little bit harder of a time to allow the lie. So anyways, this is something I'm looking at today, fresh off the boat from yesterday, looking at wow, okay, what can I choose now? And if you're joined this late, look at the front of this live so you understand what I'm fucking talking about. Can I love you more? Can I marry you? Would you marry me? Sure. Who am I marrying though? It's Facebook user. Who is that? What I don't get is why they would lie. Okay. There's a million reasons why, but in Access we say, don't ask why, pock and pod the lie. Okay, which is funny. We're talking about lying. Oh, Dan, yes, let's get married, Dan. Yes, I'm there. Can we ride down the aisle on your horses? That would be amazing. Dan again. Okay, so why would they lie? You could break that down in a million different ways. And having some sort of understanding. One consequence. So if you're talking about kids, are you doing consequence every time over conversation? Okay. And that goes with relationships too, but if you're talking about kids, okay. So consequence is putting them in a defense always, because who wants a consequence? Like I'm going to just poke at all you adults right now. Like, if you have a way to get out of something that you've created, are you not willing to lie? Like, if your boss comes to you and says, hey, did you do this? And you're like, yeah, I sent that email out like just a little bit ago, but you didn't send it out. So like you guys, we lie all the time. We just feel the need to like condemn children for lying, but yet y'all are like, stuck in traffic, but really you haven't even left the house. Like, come on, what's a lie is a lie, right? So if you have like the awareness that like a lie is a lie, you do it all the fucking time. Like, what space can you give to your kids that like is like, oh, they're telling me they're stuck in traffic right now because I don't want to deal with like the shame of being late or whatever. Okay. So looking for why is like, okay, so are you doing consequence over conversation? So to me, if I could ever choose a conversation over a consequence, and sometimes consequences are required because we had a number of conversations already, absolutely. And sometimes taking a kid's phone is a way to melt them down to like, okay, I submit to this new request, But that's a question every moment. And so if you're blanketing consequences across the board, then you're not in the creation of the relationship with the kid either. So lying might just be easier for them than to deal with that mess. Okay. Have you created a fear in your relationship with your kids or in any relationship where like they're afraid to lose you? They're afraid to make you upset. They're afraid you're going to reject them. You're afraid. So lying keeps you around until you find out the lie, right? Buys them some time. Sometimes I think, kids lie because they can get away with it. Just to see what happens. Why do you lie when you lie? That would be the way to look at, because the amount of lies and white lies, right, that my husband has told me in our 23 years is insane. Like, insane. And so anytime he's telling the kids to be honest, I'm just like, this is very interesting. And I wouldn't even label my husband a liar. I would look at him and say he was somebody who grew up in a house where the only way to survive was to lie, because judgment was so thick. And if he lied, he created space to not be judged. So a lie actually allowed him to survive and to thrive, because otherwise he would have no sense of self for himself. So he is a product of that environment. So how can I be an allowance of that? And then continually say to him, hey, I don't judge you. You don't have to lie to me. But then there are other times when like, I know lying about something creates more because someone you can't handle the truth. You know that Tom Cruise movie? What is that? Oh, might be time to end the live. I'm quoting Tom Cruise. Okay. You want the truth? You can't handle it. Is it him or Jack Nicholson? Who said that? It might have been Jack Nicholson. Anyways, I digress, whatever. So if somebody can't actually receive the truth, why would you do that to them? You don't need to air your dirty laundry in front of everybody. Like, ask at every moment, can this person actually receive what I know or what I chose? No. Okay, cool. What can they receive? And then be the kindness to deliver that. Cool. I'm head tripping, but the consequence they do get is always for lying, not for whatever it was they did. Yeah. So, Facebook user. What conversation can you have with them about the value that you are having on, I don't know, maybe it's not even with them, maybe it's with you. You can run what energy space, conscious choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities. Can me and my body be to be willing to be lied to with total ease? Because to me, I would not want my kid to go out in the world and not know how to lie. And I know that's fucking wild. But if they need to lie to get out of a situation or stay safe, I don't want them double checking that at the door. I don't want them second guessing it. I want them to know that they can say whatever they require to say to survive and thrive. And that judgment of being a bad person because you lie is not enough or isn't as valuable as them creating their lives. Now, it's different. The choice to lie does not make you a liar. It's a choice. So again, what is it that they feel like they have to lie about that you're contributing to changing? Just like with the school district, I don't know who Facebook user this is right now. Come on, who wouldn't marry Sarah? I'm sure there are many. But I had to go in asking to be the contribution to the thing I'd like to change. So if you'd like to change this with your kids, you got to look at like, okay, cool, where am I contributing to that? And it might be a blind spot that you have to get so fucking vulnerable with. You might not want to know that your kids have fear of you. Or you might want to know that you were raised with fear as a way of control, as a way of parenting, that it's just flows through you with the way that you approach them when you're accusing them of something. You instill fear. Fear puts up our walls and barriers, and there right behind there lives the lie. Okay. I hope that contributes. I don't know who it is, but Marcy, I've been aware when a family member was lying, and I was okay with it as I understood it was more kind for them to save face in that instance than call it out. Yeah, I'm getting that I have been proving and holding in place superiority with and around lying, and subsequently became the queen to decide when and who can or cannot lie. Oh my God, would I have been making 100% right that isn't unlocking it? Oh, Marcy, that is delicious. You are such a fucking gift. Dustin Hoffman, was it really? I think it was Jack Nicholson. Okay. What about someone who judges a lot and lies probably even more? Well, are they a contribution to your life? What about them? I don't know. What do you want to know? The head tripper is Marion. Okay, cool. Oh, they know how to lie easily and fluently. They're my kids after all. I just would rather they didn't lie to me about breaking a dish or shit like that. Yeah, but it's so much deeper than breaking a dish. If that's you, Marion, you got to check yourself, baby. And I won't be unkind to expose anything here to you, but there are situations in your world that you are contributing to children having to lie about who they are. So, and you're not wrong. It's again, product of environment, right? But if the lie is so fucking deep, if they can't be who they are and who they be, what the fuck does it matter if they have to lie about the fucking mountain in the room? What does it matter about a dish? Oh, yay. Hi, Mary. I'm glad you're back, or I'm glad I can see you. Okay. So and go back to like raising kids from a place or being with kids or people, letting people be who they be. The lies start to go away. The congruency starts to show up. They don't need to lie to be anymore. And so if you're around someone who's lying all the time, what can you be that just melts it so they know they're received and they don't have to have the walls and barriers up that they create with the lies? You're so welcome, Facebook user. So if someone can just exhale because they're around you and they know that no matter what they say, what they choose, what they do, that their being is received, like who needs to lie in that place? You know? Could this be more energetic than actual words? Absolutely. Congruency is everything. And you know who the greatest congruency radars are, or incongruency radar, are children. Children, because they don't have the judgments that we do that interrupt what they're willing to be aware of. They just don't have the words to describe it a lot of the time. But my son still says, like, he'll tell me, he's like, nope, she makes my butt tickle. Like ever since he was little, he's had a tickle in his butt when a bad person or someone up to no good is around, and he does not let that go. If someone tickles his butt, he knows right away. And it doesn't matter who they are, where they came from, or how much I'm touting their excellence. He's like, nope. He's like, I'll be around that person, but I'm till my butt tickle goes away. So when he was 3 years old, I'll tell a very quick story, then I got to jump. When my son was 3 years old, he came into my salon, and there was a man that would come in all the time into the salon. And he was a regular, but he was with a different stylist. And so, but because I owned the salon, he would always come by and say hi, and he was friendly enough. I didn't know anything about him. And one day he was in there, and my son was in there, and he was paying really close attention to my son, and like on the ground talking to him. This man was probably in his 50s, and he was like, "Hey, buddy," like, being playful with the kid. Cool. I didn't see anything wrong with that. And so then he said, "Hold on a second, I'll be right back." And my son was just the whole time being like, and Steven, if you know him or have known him then, he talks a lot. He's never been shy at all. So he was like, I don't know about this guy. And I'm being the mom, being like, "Oh, Steven, this is my friend Joe." I don't remember his name. Say hi, buddy, doing that thing that us fucking cute parents do. Oh, hi. Oh, Marco's back. Hi. Yeah, that's the story I'm telling you, Marco. Okay. So then, he's like, and I'm doing the like, "Steven, be polite. Steven, be kind." And Steven's like, nope, not giving me up for this. And I was like, okay. Well, the guy goes out the car, comes back with a Spider-Man toy. And was like, and Steven was like, I think he probably even had a Spider-Man shirt on. The guy happened to have a Spider-Man toy in his car, but didn't have any kids. And he's like, "Yeah, I bought this for my nephew." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "But I'm going to give it to Steven." And I was like, "Oh, that's generous. Wow." And Steven would not take it. And Steven, like, he would walk around, choo, 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 like this to everybody. I don't think I did the noise right. But he would do all this to everybody to get, like, whatever, to be Spider-Man. He would not take this toy. Brand new in the box Spider-Man toy. I was like, wow, this is fucking weird. Right. And then the guy was like, "Oh, okay." And he left. And then Steven's like, "I don't like him, Mommy. I don't like him." And I was like, okay. I'm like, I can't find a reason why you wouldn't like him. So I doubted my son's knowing. He's 3. What does he know? So that happened. Next time I'm in the salon, I said I was going to make this short. I'm not doing a great job. Anyways, I'm like working on one of my clients, whatever. Same guy comes in the back door, and my client goes like this, and was like, "Oh my God, Sarah, get me out of here. Get me out of here." And I was like, "What just happened?" And she goes, "That guy, is his name Joe Smo?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And she's like, "Oh my God, you have to get me out of here." And I was like, "Why?" She goes, "I testified against him in a child molestation case. He molested his nephew who lives next door to me. And he was in jail for 8 years, and he had just gotten out." So I say that because congruency and energy, I was buying the lie that the guy was telling because it was nice, and I judged it as nice. My son was willing to know something that I wasn't willing to know. Okay? So if you're being incongruent with your energy and you're like, "I really want you to be all of you, and I want you to know that I love you no matter what," but energetically, you're like, you have to change in order to be received. He knows that. She knows that. So you have to get congruent and be enough space to be like, "Hey, this may never change. I love you because I'm your mother, but my judgments of what you're choosing may never change. Can you receive me?" That's a choice that we can be. Okay. Good boy, Stephen, for knowing, and my kids have full permission to not interact with anyone that gives them any kind of feeling they don't like. Well, awesome. As they should be. So, I think I'm going to wrap with that. Let's look at honesty this week. And just I'm grateful for you guys being here. This will be the standing Facebook Live in this group, unless, of course, I travel or whatever. But there's a calendar up. We're going to be putting up every month that you can look at and kind of set reminders to come on the Facebook Lives and ask questions. And sometimes there will be topics at a time. Sometimes we'll just go on a riff of what's going on. And that's basically what I did today. Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks, Andrea. Thank you, Facebook user. Thanks, Marion. And thanks, Marcy. What a great story, Sarah, and conversation here today. This is such a total contribution to my world. Me too. I'm so glad it contributed. And this is also what we do, you guys, when we do choose something that's like creates more space, is our ripple effect can flow. Hi, Algorithm Interrupt. Okay, come on in. Okay. You're going to say hi to everybody before you lay down? Okay. This is the ripple effect of what we can be in the world when you choose something greater and you're willing to share it, a space with others. And it doesn't have to be a Facebook Live. It doesn't have to be writing a letter. It doesn't have to be whatever, but just ask for the space to spread out and expand out. That's the ripple that we be in the world to change it. Okay. So, yeah, if there's any, and also if you have any ideas about anything that I can contribute to you through this group with lives and whatever, we have fun stuff coming up. Marcy says hi and Marco says hi. How about this? Okay. Marion, go get your head. I don't want it to be blown off. I adore you. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to me today and receiving. And the gift of your receiving is a huge contribution to me. Mwah. See you later.